Hello YouTube coin collectors and stackers. Today we're going to be unboxing the three-legged buffalo nickel that I sent in for grading. I did some conservation work on it. We're going to see how it came back. I also went to a local coin shop, but before we get into it, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. So let's hit the coin shop stuff first. It should be pretty quick. So I went down to my local coin shop today. Actually, I hadn't been down there since I did my video on going to the coin show last week, I guess a week ago on Sunday, and I had kind of blown out my budget a little bit. So I went in and the owner was like, "Hey, where you been? I got all this new stuff in." And sure enough, there was some really cool new stuff. So couple things, some piece dollars. So these two piece dollars are the 34 and 35S. So these are better date piece dollars. You can see they're obviously circulated. They're probably like VF, I would say, but still, I think whenever I can pick these up for, not that much above melt, I'm going to pick them up because they are better, and I think over time they will hold or increase in value just because they're better dates. They're not particularly pretty ones, but they're better dates. I also picked up, not that I need any more of these, but a blue Ike, and I got this one because, this blue Ike was below melt today. Now, we could all argue melt, silver's out of control. I got over 44 bucks today, which put this Ike about $1 below melt on the price, and the coin shop was like, no, we're going to maintain that price, so I ended up picking it up. And like I said, not like I need a lot more of these. I do love Eisenhower dollars. I think they're very underappreciated from a collecting standpoint, so I grabbed that. I also don't know why I did this, because I bought 20 of these in a collection, but this is a nice 1970 large date set that I picked up as well for about half of what I can actually sell it for on eBay, so that was pretty cool. So that sucker will go up on eBay here shortly. This was just fun. I didn't see too many of these, but this is a San Francisco commemorative medallion for the cable car centennial, and I just thought this was a really, really pretty exonumia type of coin, and I liked it. And I just like the design on it, so I went and picked that one up. They had a really nice 45 Denver full steps nickel. Not a super valuable nickel. You can see the steps on it there. Got really, really nice patina on it. And I really like war nickels when they look like this. I think it's a very, very attractive. This is my favorite of the Jefferson nickels as far as attractiveness when they're BU like this, and when they have full steps. So that was pretty cool. Also grabbed this beater of an 1890 New Orleans Morgan dollar. If you watch my last video from the coin show, I bought a 1897 that, was in about this same grade, but had the original smoky sort of toning on it. And to me, those look really nice. I actually bought this because it was basically at melt today, and I needed it for my set, although I'll upgrade this one at some point. But I also, I'm going to do another video where I kind of show what something that's obviously been cleaned like this one versus one that hasn't, side by side. So, to get this one, for 33 bucks, I was like, okay, I need it for my set, and it's basically melt or below melt. Another really cool one I got today, which I really liked, is kind of small, is this 1853 half dime. And it's just with arrows, you can see there. It's just got some really nice toning on it. A lot of very, very nice detail on the face, the hair, the dress, and on the reverse. And these are so small. You can see all the detail on the wreath. It's funny is that, usually the reverse looks better on coins for whatever reason, circulation, how they're handled. But on this one, the obverse is obviously the far more attractive of the two. And that's really what you prefer. And I'll get in there so you can really see the toning on this. This is a very, very pretty half dime and a really nice AU grade. So very pleased with that pickup. The next two are super interesting. They're half cents. And this first one is an 1804 half cent. And this one's obviously a little worse for the wear. You typically see them like this. The ones I have in my set are basically worn flat. You can barely read the date on them. It's just sort of the outline of Liberty. This one's got some obvious corrosion and some other things on it that aren't too pretty, but for the price and the overall condition and the details that are on it, I thought it was worth picking up. It may need some restoration work here. You can see some black residue and some stuff on it, so I'll take a closer look at that later. in the same vein, this is a much nicer, although you can still see some corrosion and stuff, 1806. And what's interesting, you know, I almost forgot, if we flip these over, we see, of course, it's a half cent, so it's 1/200th. But you'll see the one on the left doesn't have the stems. You see the stems coming down. I'm looking for something to point with. Basically, like right here, there's not stems, just the ribbons coming down, but no stems from the wreath. And then the other one has the stems. So there's some different varieties on this related to with stems, without stems, and various types of things. So I got one of each, one without stems and one with stems. And again, I thought these were, as far as the detail on the coin is concerned, very nice examples. You know, not the prettiest. We definitely have corrosion and other things, but we can see a lot of the detail in the hair, the curls, the dress, and so forth. And then on the reverse, and that's got some interesting toning on it, the 1806. And then on the reverse, we have lots of detail here. Although, again, not the prettiest coins on the planet, but I really like them from my typeset because the ones I have are nowhere near as nice as that. And I don't see those come around very often. So I decided to grab them. And here's another one that I thought was pretty nice. This is a nice 1865. You know, definitely an AU coin. We see all the diamonds on the band there. We can see the L on the ribbon back behind there. Full Liberty. All the feathers are nice. There's, you know, a little bit of, you know, spotting on it. But the detail and everything else on this coin is quite nice. And I do like a nice Indian when I find them. So I went ahead and grabbed that as well. I always love a good Mexican coin. This isn't anything particularly special, you know, like a $17 or so coin. But, you know, I love these old silver pesos. This one obviously from 1943. Just a really nice coin. 0.72 fine silver with the cool edge lettering that you see on these coins. Just beautiful coins. The fact that you can pick these up so inexpensively, I think is something that we should be taking advantage of. Last thing before we get into the Indian cent is just out of the junk 90 bin. Junk 90 is getting pretty expensive these days, but it's not often you see in a junk 90 bin full date standing Liberty quarters, but these are full date San Francisco. Well, one of them's a Denver, the 29, and then the other two, as you can see, are both San Francisco's. So these are nice branch mint, full date, standing lib coins. You know, they're like VG, but still, I mean, to get them out of a junk 90 bin for $8 each. I mean, even before, you know, silver was as expensive as it is, I would pay, you know, $8 a piece for these guys. So pick those ones up. So now let's jump into the main part of the video, which is this PCGS holder box. And it's always funny to me, right, that you got this PCGS holder box that has one coin in it. I'm almost thinking they should make different sizes of these boxes, maybe like one that's, you know, a quarter or a third, and then a half, and then a full one, because this is like crazy. I donate these to my coin club to raise money. People buy them, so it's fine. But let's go ahead and take a look at the coin itself. So this is a three-legged, let's zoom in here, nice three-legged Buffalo, 1937. So why do we send these guys in? Of course, we send them in because we need to make sure they're authentic. This is a highly faked coin. We can see here the front leg missing right there. So how do we fake the coin? We simply take a jeweler's tool or some other tool and we tool off that leg, and now we have a three-legged buffalo. I'll put the link to the previous video where I talk about this, but one of the things you'll see here under the buffalo is this little arc. And the saying for authentication is, if the buffalo ain't pissing, the leg ain't missing. And we can see there, if I tilt it, the buffalo is definitely relieving himself. So the other question is, okay, well, is it authentic? I deemed it was and worth sending in for grading. And has it been cleaned, or is it otherwise a problem coin? So in this case, this coin, when it came into my possession, was covered in PVC. I'm going to post a link to a video below where I recover PVC, actually recover them off of these really cool Cuban pesos from the 1930s. These were all covered in PVC, so I'll put a link to the video below where I actually do that restoration work on these coins. But I had to do similar work on this coin, and you can see some of the pitting and stuff. I'm trying to get it up out of the light, out of the ring light there. Ring light's helpful and harmful, but we can see there's still a little bit of something on there. I probably worked a good 45 minutes to an hour to get all of the residue off of this coin. And now it's a crapshoot, because If I missed any, if there's any PVC sort of up under his neck or in the braids or, you know, in some of the folds in the top of the buffalo here. I mean, PVC, when it gets into coins, gets in everywhere. So it's always a crapshoot when you're doing conservation work on these kind of coins, especially a coin like this. If it is authentic and so forth, right? Are you the reason it got a detailed grade? So this was a Hail Mary finger crossing deal, and we got in XF45, and it is authentic. Oh, sorry, XF40. I wish it was a 45. That would have been better. And in the video, my previous video, I basically said I thought it was XF40, and it had an outside shot at a 45. PCGS thought it was a 40. I agree with the grade. It is authentic, 3 legs, and the conservation work was a success. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. I will post some links in the description below with some of my conservation stuff that I've done. I've conserved some pretty nice coins, Carson City Morgan dollars and other stuff, and gotten them straight graded. And I like to talk about how exactly, you know, people can do this responsibly so that we are preserving the heritage, we're preserving these coins, and we're not harming them. You know, in the hobby, we tell people, well, don't clean them. Well, of course, you know, you don't want to clean them if you don't know what you're doing. So, you know, I would rather see people discussing in the hobby, you know, much more about what's the correct way to conserve a coin and what's the correct way to get PVC off and melted plastic from a melted holder, which I had to do with a Carson City dollar that had survived in a fireproof safe, and the holder melted around it. In fact, I happen to have that holder right here as we're talking about this, and I'll put a link to this video because I conserved the coin that was melted in that container, and it's straight graded 64 with PCGS. So thank you guys as always for watching. I really appreciate it, and as always, happy collecting.